Hi everyone, this is Kim and
Gian.
I am going to be asking Gian a couple of questions about his pilot project Earth Haven that started about a year ago,
13 months.
13 months ago. And I was curious to find out where things are at, what he's been up to, and basically how things got to be where they are today. So 13 months ago, you started a project with basically absolutely nothing. I mean, you had yourself, you had your principles, but you had nothing on the ground. So, is that accurate?
I did have something.
Okay.
Everything in this world is determined on position and location. So yeah, I did have a opportunity on a property, a farm here in South Africa, to start something with what I have, and also looking at the grander scheme of things in the world and how we have to move as humanity to more sustainable living and also community living. So yeah, I did start with nothing in terms of not having anything, but I had the location and position.
Okay.
I had the opportunity to start something specifically that's in alignment with what Earth Haven is about, which is sustainability, human development, animals, nature, etc.
Okay, cool. So when you're at that point where it was opportunity, you had those building blocks, how did you start to create actually Earth Haven as what it is today? What were your first steps in that process?
The first step started, I would say, about a year before I created Earth Haven, as everyone sees it now. Before Earth Haven, it was first initially Gian's mission.
Right, yeah, I remember that.
I wanted to call it something, I didn't know what to call it. But I realized that I've lived a certain way, and this way that I've lived in terms of my principles that I've been implementing for over 8 years back then, and living in community, living with animals, taking care of animals, I had to put it somewhere.
Yeah.
I had to get it out somehow, and I have to show it to the world in some way, and also to take it further, to expand upon what does it mean when I take my principles and I create with it. So I spend a lot of time writing, a lot of time pondering, a lot of time thinking, a lot of time looking at my own process, how it has changed me, my process in terms of how I've changed through the course of my life here on the farm and living in a community, working with people and working with myself mostly. And I looked at how can I give this back to the people, to the earth? How can I give back to other animals, to other beings? How can I implement something that will have a domino effect in the long run?
Mm-hmm.
So I spent months, and I must admit, a lot of time thinking, and I also wrote things down. I draw a lot of pictures, many pictures. I drew a lot of pictures, how I see it happening. I did research on already existing self-sustainable communities. I did research on growing methods of food, and there's tons of it. There's no shortage of what we can implement in this world. And that's where I came to another point in my process of looking at Earth Haven was, how can we simplify this? Because there's too much. If you go look at self-sustainable living, there's thousands. And how do you as an individual say, okay, I'm going to do this? And then you fail, or you mess up, or you make a mistake. You spend a lot of money, a lot of time, a lot of resources on implementing things that ends up not working. So Earth Haven is part of the research, the development here on the first project, where we can see what works in a community style for animals, plants, for everything. It includes everyone and everything. So I decided I can be a test base and then create a model which we will copy paste.
Right.
That's what you want to get in is copy paste. And for people not to worry about money. So you have a centralized point where everyone can see the money, everyone knows where they're putting their money, and what is the vision that money is supporting, the missions that's currently busy within the project of Earth Haven.
Okay. So make it practical, doable.
Yeah. So not every individual has to fend for themselves or create and figure out. It's like, oh, here's a model. Let's implement that model, and you have a sort of like an arrow team that goes and do it, that implements it, that makes it happen. So you also don't have to spend 20 years saving up, building little. because we need change currently, actually now. Change is urgent in this world for nature, animals, people. And no one has ever gone and said, let's implement self-sustainable solutions. The governments, no one. Even though we've had it for over 100 years. No one has gone and said, let's do this because we see it works. We have the evidence now of self-sustainable communities that lasted for 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 years. But you don't see anyone caring about implementing it, at a grand scale. That's what we need.
So it's like they'll develop their sustainable community. It'll be like a bubble almost. Like it will remain inside that area. Whereas the difference between Earth Haven would be you plan to grow and spread and break beyond those boundaries.
No, you want to create a franchise.
Yeah.
You currently have McDonald's, who's got 36,000 branches across the earth. You have Coca-Cola, who's got 900 plants across the earth. And Coca-Cola itself sells 1.7 billion products a day. McDonald's brings in every day over $60 million every day, of people buying. So, 60 million people buying, not how much money.
Right.
But the point is, you want to create a similar effect. You want to change the world. So you have to move as the corporations are moving. But you have to do it in reverse. So instead of giving our money to get something back, we give our money to give. Because that's what we need to start doing.
Yeah.
We need to start giving back to the earth. We cannot just spend our money when we think we're going to receive something right now, like a meal or a Coke or a drink. We need to start spending our money when we're going to get something in 50 years. Which is a fresher earth, healthier plants, healthier life. And your children and your grandchildren is going to benefit from that.
Right.
So it's a new kind of franchise where, you just give. It's time we start giving. Because we've only been taking from the earth this whole time.
So it's a type of franchise that actually would be beneficial were it to overtake the world.
Yeah. So you can imagine having 36,000 Earth Havens or self-sustainable communities that supports all life, even the self-development of the individual human being.
Which is a very important point.
Yeah. So imagine that many self-sustainable communities just popping up, the same way McDonald's popped up, the same way Coca-Cola is everywhere. We need to start having that same mentality of giving instead of just receiving.
Okay, so this was like a vision of the potential of where Earth Haven can be and can go. But when you're a guy who's got his 2 feet on the ground and a shovel in his hand, what are the first steps that you had to take in order to make any movement at all?
Believe. I had to create believe.
What do you mean by that?
Well, I had to plant a tree to show people the effects of just planting one tree. So when I had a shovel in my hand and just on the ground and I had nothing, I had to, first of all, create Earth Haven. And then I had to tell people, let's change the world. Let's have an impact in this world. And the first person that believed in me, I planted a tree for that person to show them where there's giving, there's receiving. They're not receiving that tree personally.
Right.
But the earth is receiving it. The animals are receiving it. Our air, which that person later on received, is receiving this tree.
Yeah.
So I had to put word into action. And I just had to build like how you build a house, each brick at a time. You can't go, this is what I want now. You have to actually put in the work. So having this massive vision behind me, inside me, and having this mission inside me, I knew I had to kind of move with what people can see, what people can work with. So I started creating projects, to show, here's your money coming to me, there's your money going out. That's what I'm building. This is what I'm creating. And that's all I could start with.
So you started a Patreon page, you started Earth Haven in name.
That actually came afterwards.
It did?
Yeah. I first created Gian's mission, and then I realized I needed somewhere for people to support me. Then I got Patreon. And Patreon was my website at that time, because I could put all my content on it and it's there for people to see. People can communicate with me, message me. It's very easy to make a pledge. Just click on the orange button, become a patron, and put in your details, and it's a monthly deduction.
Yeah.
They're supporting me. And that took a lot of time. You have to get art, you have to get everything written out, your mission, your vision, your purpose, all your statements, what's happening. You have to, what's the benefits people are getting for pledging. Even though I don't want to give people anything for supporting me, because that's not the point. Once again, what I see with a lot of companies that is doing cool work in terms of supporting the environment and so forth, they still give out t-shirts and caps and cups and pins. Where does that resources come from? I don't want to start something where I have to keep giving people something for supporting me, because it's defeating the purpose of stopping taking from the earth the whole time.
Yeah.
Now I'm sending you a shirt. Now I'm sending you this and this and this and this and this. So now imagine I have 10,000 people supporting me, and every 6 months I have to send out t-shirts, hats, and things like that. Then you're having you're becoming what you're preaching against,
So you're not using the usual channels of marketing
No.
that companies are using. You're using
Common sense, self-honesty.
Also teaching those who support Earth Haven about this common sense, so that they can understand that when you give, the receiving is not necessarily coming right back to you in terms of material goods or some kind of reward. The receiving is going to the earth, from which we all benefit.
Yeah. So your initial receiving is a tree in your name. That's giving to the earth still.
Yeah.
That's the best I could come up with, because that's what I wanted to do either way.
Yeah.
And why not give a tree to someone and put their name on it? So in the end, it's a pretty cool idea, because imagine we have now 850 trees that still needs to be planted on this current property. So imagine you have 850 trees with 850 names on it. It's like people are growing as a forest.
Amazing.
That's 850 different people that's all standing together in a forest for the earth, as the earth.
Yeah.
And that will be a cool visual and also a cool physical effect to show people how people are, in fact, the movement for change in this world. For every tree, there's evidence it was a person. And that's what you need to show people, that you have direct consequences, effects in this world. And they are very long lasting. Like a tree will last very long.
Yeah.
With other things like our plastic can, bottles and Coke and everything we have, that's also the same. It's a long lasting effect. It's just not contributing to the earth in a positive way.
Yeah. Causing more problems.
It's causing more problems, yeah.
Yeah.
So when you buy something to drink out of a plastic bottle and you throw that bottle away, it's like planting a tree. It's just, you're not planting a tree, you're planting plastic that the earth has to work very, very hard to remove, and at the same time damaging plant life, animal life, soil, etc.
So this is a type of common sense that drives the direction of the project and how you go about walking through all the steps of your different projects you have going. How are you finding the movement right now with Earth Haven, in terms of the funding you're able to get, the time, the labor that you're able to contribute to it? Are you satisfied with the movement? Is it moving, and how?
I will never be satisfied.
Yeah.
But I'm satisfied with what I have. I appreciate what I have, and I work with what I have. To disregard that is even worse than not having anything. If I didn't have 2 people supporting me, then that's worse than having 2 people. I have 2 people. I remember when I got the first 4 people to sign up, I was like, what? People support this? Wow. But satisfaction will come when we can actually compete with what's currently dominating the earth, and we can become that dominance, which is life, which is nature, animals, clean water, clean air. When we can compete within that line, then I'll be satisfied. So how I'm moving currently is one person with a couple of people on my side who supports me, who helps me push things, puts information together, compiling everything. So a lot of things is still working in the background. And all the projects we currently have is very simple still. Very, because according to the funding we have, we can only do so much.
Right.
So depending on the money you have, that's how much you can do. Currently we can plant a forest and we can start vegetable patches. That's what we can do. So planting a forest will continue. That's consistent money. Starting vegetable patches, you needed a lot of compost. We have not even filled a tenth of the amount of compost we need for the soil we have, and that's expensive here in South Africa.
Right.
I've done my research, I've seen what we have, what we don't have, and we have to buy compost at that scale. So that's where the money is currently going, and that's what it covers. And then you have basic stuff like the website. Currently we can cover the website costs. That's pretty cool. We start a website, and we can cover things like basic tools we have to change or buy new ones. But once you've got all of that, that's not an expense anymore, so we have more money there. No one gets a salary from this. All the money goes straight into a project, and that's what you move with. So we have to still buy lots of pots, netting. We still have to get all the equipment to gardening, to do our fruit forest, which is currently on the go, our Back to Eden garden, which is on the go, our permaculture garden, which is on the go, and then our tunnel, which is on the go. And then we also have the normal plant a forest project, which is on the go, which we have currently about 80 trees planted.
Amazing.
Yeah, so we can still go over 850 trees. So that's ongoing. That's not stopping. Winter, summer, it's ongoing. You have winter veggies, summer veggies. You have winter fruit trees. Everything keeps going. And that's where the money is kind of going in just those things. And then you have your basic running costs, which is your petrol. When you go into town, you have to buy stuff. And you need a pencil, you need a piece of paper, you need something here. Like I created this shirt. Sometimes we do get a shirt just to get your name out. But it's not in bulk, it's not massive. It's not like we're giving stuff for free. And so that's ongoing currently. And you only need 2-3 people to run all of this at the moment. So it's not a lot. But if we have to double in what we're getting now, it's going to get a lot busier. If we have to triple in what we have now currently in support, it's going to get real busy.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm just showing you that the more people contribute, the more you will see. My mark currently is $7,500 a month. Can we reach that? All right, it's all on Patreon. It shows you exactly what we're going to do with that money. And it's pretty cool to know that that's all you need, really, as a base to start moving things.
Yeah. So it's cool for everybody who's busy working, who has this kind of passion and vision, but doesn't have the time or the resources to be able to do it themselves. We have people like Gian out there who all he needs is that support so that he can move. So my last question is, the vision is gigantic.
Yeah.
A lot of people would say you're a dreamer, it's never going to happen, human nature. They're going to throw all this kind of stuff. Have you experienced that? And what would you say to them?
Yeah, I think most people that sees Earth Haven, which is what I've picked up as well, is you've seen so many of these type of things. All right, first of all, there's so many people claiming we're going to change the world. We're going to do something good. We're going to make it happen. And you have, for example, big people like WWF.
Yeah, World Wildlife Foundation.
Yeah, World Wildlife Foundation. And they have billions in support, but they haven't changed the world yet. And I can explain to you exactly why, but we're not going to go into that now.
Maybe in another video.
So, when people see someone new coming up, it's, there's already so many. So first of all, it's already like we've become numb to believing in other people.
Yeah.
And we've become numb in seeing change. And that's the whole agenda of what people are doing that's running big corporations. They create WWF as their counter opposite, and they run it. So Coca-Cola, for example, will own WWF as an example. I'm not saying they do, but that's what they do. They create the solutions to the problems they create to control everything. That's why you never see change.
Almost like giving people the impression that they are supporting something, that there are movements out there doing something, so it appeases people in that way. Yet, as everybody can see, the problems are just continuing, and there's actually been no movement towards solution.
So when it comes to me, I'm challenged with breaking the barriers that's already placed there. And people already are donating their money to other things, such as shelters or dog shelters, human shelters. People are already donating money to these things monthly. So now I come along and I say, we will support that. We will support that. But they're not seeing it yet. That's once again the same as fast food. You want to see results now. You want to see what you're supporting now. Not willing to create it over a long run where it actually provides a solution instead of being a band-aid. So I'm giving solutions and not band-aids.
Right.
And people want to see band-aids because it gives an immediate impression something's happening.
That instant gratification.
Yeah, and that keeps the problem continuing. So also getting people to divert their money to an actual solution is very difficult, because in the meantime you are helping a dog, you are helping a cat, you are helping, but no one is actually helping the earth, the actual mother that supports all life. No one's actually having solutions to prevent everything else we're band-aiding. And that's what I'm offering. So it seems very big. Yes, it's overwhelming. And I know that. And people can't grasp the whole picture. It's very, very difficult. That's why I keep it simple to support me, plant a tree.
Yeah.
Support me and see what I do every day. Have updates on what I do. Enjoy the news. Enjoy the stories. I don't give everyone a vision, boom, shove it down their throat and say, now you must get it. I give it in little chunks, and hopefully over time people will start seeing it. Those that do see it immediately, that's cool, because that means they're on my level and they can walk with me. Those who don't see it immediately, that's also cool. Everyone's cool. We just need to walk together as the coolness. And so I am not bothered with winning over people. I will keep presenting common sense. I'll keep presenting self-honesty. I'll keep presenting solutions. And I will challenge in my videos beliefs, constructs that already exist, opinions. I will challenge everything. And those that can see will see. Those that can hear will hear. Those that do not, it's fine. Hopefully later people will see. But I'm not making it my objective to convince people.
Right.
I'm not here to convince people. I'm here to stand as a point and stand as that point. And eventually people will maybe see, join me, walk with.
Yes. Cool. So, personally, for me, when I am confronted with these large visions, the first thing I like to do, and actually Gian helped me with this, was to challenge my own beliefs that are limiting me from even being able to see that this type of thing is possible. But when you see one person and how much one person can do, and experience that for yourself, witness it firsthand, actually you see that it's quite possible, and it could be the only thing that's limiting us is our beliefs. So thank you so much, Gian. Sure we'll have more interviews in the future. I have a lot more questions.
Yeah.
But we'll end this one here for now.
All right.
Thank you everybody for watching.
Thank you.
We'll see you next time.
Thanks, Kim.
Thank you. Bye.